Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason, speaking to you here in my basement in the great state of Kansas. And I'm doing video talking about Paul McCartney, of course. It's a big day for all Paul McCartney fans and Beatle fans. Paul McCartney turning 80 years old. Um, Ringo just turned 80 a couple years ago, and they had like a big 80th thing I remember on YouTube where they had different musicians, wish him happy birthday, and he spoke, and maybe they played some songs. Of course, it was during the whole COVID shutdown, so it was a little bit different. Um, and now Ringo's like 82, I think, and now Paul's turning 80, which is the only two Beatles to turn 80. Of course, John died at 40 years old back in 1980, and George Harrison died a while ago, I don't know, 20 years ago or more. It didn't reach, of course, near that age of 80, unfortunately. So they both died young, somewhat, considering. We'd love to all see them all turn 80 and do like a reunion or something. But we're just so happy that, at least we got Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr still alive and still playing that Beatle music and also their solo stuff. But especially as Beatle fans, it's so great to still hear the Beatle music playing live from one of the originals, and still keeps that memory alive of the Beatles as long as those two are alive. I think a lot about when those two die, it would be the saddest day, for a lot of us. I want to say it's more sad for Paul McCartney than Ringo, but obviously Paul McCartney, wrote more songs than Ringo did. So when Paul McCartney dies, I think especially it's going to feel like the Beatles died. And that's going to be very sad for all Beatles fans to feel like we lost something that we had, And so we kind of cherish every day we have with Paul McCartney. And as long as he's still writing new music and playing, I feel like I don't care that he's 80 years old. Like anytime he puts something out, I'm listening to it because I want to hear everything he's got to say and put out. And he could retire now and not have to do anything, and we'd all still have so many great memories of Paul McCartney. But it's amazing he's still going on. He still finished a U.S. tour just recently. He came out with a McCartney 3 album last year. So he just keeps going and going. So I just want to talk a little bit about Paul McCartney and do a kind of a ranking. Seems like it was a good, how could you not do a video about Paul McCartney on this day? And everybody's talking about him and wish him happy birthday. And I wanted to rank my favorite Paul McCartney Beatles song, or not Beatles songs, but Paul McCartney songs after the Beatles, kind of his solo career. I've listened to all of his albums. He's definitely, obviously, Beatles is my favorite band of all time. Nothing can compare to that. Second behind them is Paul McCartney. His solo career, I think, is absolutely amazing. Love his solo albums. I'm doing my top 100 favorite albums list. Obviously, the Beatles have the most albums on there, all 12 of theirs, not including Yellow Submarine, made it my top 108 favorite albums. And Paul McCartney, I can't remember exactly, but I think he has maybe like 7 or so albums. He's got the second most albums on my 100 favorite albums list. Absolutely love his albums. Post Beatles, he's come the greatest, I think, pop ballad songwriter of all time. So many great pop songs, so many great ballads. He can play on the piano, his acoustic guitar, obviously great bass work. Also a really good electric guitar player too. He has a couple of rocking songs. He's not as known for the rock as much, though he has some good rock songs in there. But mostly it's the pop and the ballads that really made him one of the best ever. Post Beatles, you just take his Beatles career and he's one of the greatest of all time, and then you take his post Beatles career and he just continued to make just amazing work. Up until even now, he's still making some amazing work. It feels like even Egypt Station had some great songs on it. I think Flaming Pie, which came out in the 90s, I think 97, and then Chaos and Creation in the Backyard came after that. Are just amazing albums, and he's getting into his 60s. Even I Like New, which he's getting to his 70s. It's like, wow, this guy's putting out such amazing work at such a late stage of his life, when most rock artists kind of just somewhat disappear, and we kind of forget about him. But Paul, you never forget about him. He's continually make great work, and he's almost continually make even better work. I feel like he's almost improving in his later years in some ways. Of course, his voice isn't what it used to be, but still can get out there and at least, sing it good enough that you still don't mind it as much as some artists. But Yeah, I'm just a huge fan of Paul McCartney. I went and saw him in concert back in 2017, which was the greatest concert of all time. And I mean, obviously, never get any better than that. Obviously, I never get to see the Beatles in concert. Obviously, they came way before my time. But I got to see Paul in concert, and that's the second best thing you can ever have behind the Beatles, because he can play all the Beatles songs that he wrote, and even some that he didn't wrote, he sang. But you get all the great Beatles songs plus his solo career, which has a lot of great hits. He can just play a whole concert just of his solo career, and it'd be a great concert. You had the Beatles. I mean, some of the best songs ever made or ever written by him. I mean, it's just the greatest concert that you can ever. Even I saw him, and he was 75 years old. At 75, still the greatest concert I've ever or will ever see in my life. And I doubt I'll ever see him again, but that was just a dream come true. It was like one of those bucket list things. I never thought I'd see him in concert, because I just thought I could never afford the tickets, and they get sold out so quickly. And he never really comes around my area in Kansas. So I never thought I would. And then when I got the opportunity to, I mean, it was just a dream come true. And it was so amazingly, emotional. Love singing. I mean, it's something about singing a Beatles song with thousands of other Beatle fans in the same, in the same concert arena, and singing along with Paul McCartney, and just like you shared this memory with all these people, and it's like we all love Paul McCartney and the Beatles, and we're all sharing that love together, and it's just something absolutely amazing and emotional about doing that I absolutely loved. But I just wanted to show you, I still have the, what do you call it? You buy this at the concert. It was called the One-on-One Tour he was doing there, and this is the booklet that came with it that I bought. Picture of him. Anyways, still cherish this thing, and look at it every once in a while. And it's got pictures, the dates, and interviews with Paul McCartney, interviews with the band that he's been with for quite a while. But yeah, it's just a cool memorabilia for my time when I actually got to see him in concert. The other thing I wanted to show is the only thing is the ticket that I have of the concert. Basically, my sister actually bought the ticket, and I'm forever grateful for her for doing that. I mean, I can never pay her back for giving me a ticket to watch my idol in concert. But it was at Interest Bank Arena, which is the big arena that they built in Wichita, Kansas. It's the only time he's ever come to Wichita, which is close to where I grew up. It's where I was born. He's come to, I think, Kansas City, maybe, which is in Missouri, which is close to Kansas. So that's about close as he probably will get to, or he has been to Kansas, is Kansas City, Missouri. But this is the first time he's played a concert in the state of Kansas, in Wichita, Kansas. So that was great to be able to go see him coming for the first time Wednesday, July 19th, 2017. I saw him. $252 for the ticket, so pretty good seats. I was pretty happy with the seats. Couldn't think of anything better than what we had. Now the stickers actually got out of the booklet that I bought, because I don't know, when I got this ticket, I was just so, like I said, I was just so grateful, amazed that I got this ticket to go see Paul McCartney. So after the concert, whatever, this is something that my sister, of course, printed out, bought it online and printed out the ticket, and then we brought it to show to be scanned and everything. Anyways, and then afterwards, I felt like I had to keep this memory, and I had to frame it. And I've never framed a ticket before, and I'll never probably do again. But this is just special on a level that I'll never have again. Anyway, so I just felt like I had to frame this and look at it and go, wow, I got to see Paul McCartney. Anyways, and to kind of liven it up a little bit, I took some stickers out of the book. I had some stickers of Paul McCartney, so I put these on here, the One-on-One Tour. Anyways, it's not as fancy as like probably back in the day, you used to actually get like these actual tickets, that you'd have to buy probably at the box office, and they'd have to rip it or something like that. Of course, nowadays you don't even use paper tickets, you just use your phone or something, and they just scan your phone. That's why technology's gone nowadays. But I do love that I got a printout of the ticket. It's just might not look like much, but to me it's worth a lot of money, or priceless, I should say. priceless memory. Anyways, but so that's just a little bit of my experience with Paul McCartney, and the greatest concert, of course. Singing, I always say like my favorite moment ever is singing "Hey Jude." Towards the end of the concert, he does the "Hey Jude," one of my favorite songs of all time. But there's a moment, of course, where he has the audience just sing it, just the audience, and not him. And to do that na 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 na, hey Jude, just an amazing moment singing with all these people. You can hear all the voices singing together because we just love the song so much. And he does this, okay, now just the girls sing, and then just the guys sing, and now everybody else come back together. And he directs the whole thing, and it's just amazing. They sing this iconic, line of music, historical music, in front of Paul McCartney. Greatest moment ever, I think, in concert I've ever had. Also love the "Live and Let Die." I always say "Live and Let Die" was a cool experience. Not that it's one of my favorite Paul McCartney songs. It's a good Paul McCartney song, but the way the pyrotechnics, whatever, the stage, fire comes out, and they go "Live and Let Die," boom. It sounds like a cannon goes off. It's the loudest thing I've ever heard. Go boom, and you're just like, wow, like that. My ears are ringing, and I'm not that close to this whatever making that noise. But he does that a couple times during the song, and you just wait for it, like, oh, boom. It's like, I can't believe I heard such a loud sound, and then also seeing the fire and the pyrotechnics are just absolutely amazing on that song. But anyways, that's just my a little bit of my experience of the concert experience I've had. And then I want to go through my top 10 favorite Paul McCartney songs. I went on Spotify and listened to a bunch of Paul McCartney songs, of course, today. Came up with the top 10, and really had to think about it, and it was really hard kind of ranking them, because all 10 of these songs are like number one songs to me. Like, they could all be number one. They're so great. Some of my favorite songs of all time. And Paul McCartney has so many great songs. There's so many songs I could have made into this list, but not really trying to. Like, it's kind of a diverse list, actually. None of that. I have 10 songs off of either 10 different albums or singles. None of them are on the same album, but I just think about there's so many great songs throughout his career that I absolutely love. Number 10, I'm going with a song called "Early Days." Came off the new album. And this is one that, I don't know, it's not one that he's ever played in a concert. The two big singles on New are "New" and "Queenie Eye," which are good songs too. He played those two in concert when I saw him, because when I saw him in 2017, the new album was the newest album that had come out, which came out 2015 or something. I can't remember. It came out a little bit before. It's before Egypt Station came out, and so I didn't have any Egypt Station songs yet. But this is a song. It's just absolutely amazing song. I love it lyrically and the music. It's like two guitars playing together, and they're just really beautiful. It's like these two guitars picking together, and it sounds like an accordion or something in the background. It has a lot of great background music. Anyways, that's real beautiful. I love Paul McCartney's beautiful ballad type songs, and it's not exactly a ballad, but either piano or acoustic guitar songs I absolutely love from Paul McCartney. And this is one of, I think, his best ones, and I don't think it's one probably anybody else really talks about, but it's my favorite song on the album. It's a good album I really like. And I love lyrically, it's talking about early days. He's talking about his days before he was famous, and I love the lyrics of, like, he says, the two of us walking down the road with our guitars on our back, something like that, and two of us. He's obviously talking about him and John, like. So I love that he's reminiscing. It's a reminiscing song, of course, which makes sense because he's like in the 70s probably at this point when he wrote the song. And he's looking back at like those early days before he was famous. Him and John were still walking around trying to figure out different chords on the guitar, and they're not famous, they're not great yet. They're just learning to be in a band and learning to be good guitar players. They had no idea what the future was going to hold at that point. They were just two regular guys like me or you. It's kind of interesting to think about those days before they were famous. It all seems to be a song that he's writing kind of to go against the fact that everybody thinks they know Paul McCartney. I think we all think we know him because we're all obsessed with Paul McCartney, and we've read books about him that have written about his early days, and documentary footage and interviews. And it feels like in the song he's trying to say, nobody really knows me like I do. I was there, the other people weren't there. So it's almost this idea that other people that are writing about me, they really don't know the truth. Only I know the truth. Me or John, of course, John's not here anymore, but uh, he's probably tired of all of the people writing about him and writing about the stuff he did, and feels like, because in the line in the chorus he says, or one verse says, something about like everybody thinks they know, but how do they know they weren't there? Basically, I'm paraphrasing the lyrics, but basically saying like, why do people think they know about it? Because they weren't where it's at. I was there in those early days, and I know what I went through in those early days. Anyway, so really great song about reminiscing about the past, and really beautiful guitar work, I think. So number 10, I got Early Days. Number 9, I got This Never Happened Before. Comes off Chaos and Creation in the Backyard. Came out in the early 2000s, if I remember right. One of my favorite albums of his. A lot of great pop songs on there. This is another one, I don't know if it's been talked about that much. In fact, when you see him in concert, he never plays any songs from this album, and it has so many great songs on it. It's one of my favorites. There's no really big hit singles, I think, that were like big radio plays. So it's maybe forgotten, but and this song is not one I don't know if I've ever heard anybody talk about, but it was my favorite song on the album, and I absolutely loved it. It's never happened before. Another really beautiful piano, really beautiful orchestra music behind it, violins and stuff, and just a really great, I love his love songs. It's another love song. A lot of love songs on my list. He's really good at that. It's really a song about, before I met you. This has never happened before. These feelings I have basically has never happened before I met you, and talking about that. And it's just really beautiful song, really good melody. Everything you love about Paul McCartney. I think definitely have to check it out. This never happened before. At number 9. Number 8 is a song called No More Lonely Nights, another love song. This came off of the Give My Regards to Broad Street, which was, I guess, a soundtrack to the movie that he made in the 80s. He made a movie called Give My Regards to Broad Street, which he starred in, and he wrote a lot of it's like previous either Beatles songs or his songs that he covers in a different way on the movie. It's really not a very good movie from what I remember. I've seen it once or twice, and it's gotten pretty bad reviews. If you've ever seen reviews for the movie, you've seen it. It's done pretty badly. Anyway, it's not a good movie, but the one new song on there, No More Lonely Nights, which I think begins at the beginning of the movie, maybe even, is a really, really good song. Here I have it at number 8. It starts with some thunder and some rain and some bass, and then the melody comes in for the first verse, and just a really, really amazing melody. Really great vocals by Paul. Some of my favorite vocals he's ever done. And it's a song about no more, now that I'm with you, I used to have lonely nights, and now no more lonely nights, which is the name of the song, which I think is a great sentiment, of what it is when you're in love and you're with somebody is, not being lonely at night, which is time you can be very lonely when you're in bed at night. So, but yeah, just another really, really beautiful song written by Paul. And that's a number 8. Number 7, I have another kind of somewhat obscure song maybe that people don't talk about, but it's called Through Our Love, which comes off the Pipes of Peace album, which is one of my favorite Paul McCartney albums that nobody likes that much. Or usually when I see rankings of Paul albums, Pipes of Peace come towards the bottom. For me, it's towards the top. It's a really great album, I think. This is my favorite song off of it. It's not a big hit song that anybody ever talks about, or he never plays it live, but it's another really beautiful song with some great orchestra music. You'll hear me say it a lot, I love when Paul puts orchestra music to his and piano to his songs, and just he's really good at making and arranging beautiful music. And it's just another really beautiful love song, and it's got so many different instruments. There's some brass in there, so there's some like orchestra, like violins and cello in there, I think. It sounds like there's a xylophone in there. There's a part where I'm thinking it sounds like maybe a xylophone that's being played. But again, great vocals. Just one of those great, Paul's great pop vocals that he has. And good background vocals to add to it. and just just really beautiful music. All the music that's around it. It's just a great song. Of course, got Through Our Love. Talking about how we can make it through the bad times through our love and all that. So another great song you should have. If you don't know it, you should check it out. Number 6, one of his maybe his most famous song, post Beatles. This used to be my number 1, but as I'm listening to all these songs, I don't know why this didn't hit me as hard as it used to. Still a another great love song, and his first big hit, Maybe I'm Amazed, which came off his first album, McCartney, I think back in 1970 or whatever, after the Beatles broke up, and definitely one of the biggest that he's plays at all his concerts, and probably one of the most memorable ones. Again, it's a song about he's going through hard times after the Beatle breakup, but his wife Linda McCartney was there and kind of picked him up and helped him emotionally, I think. And so he wrote the song when he was writing this album about her, saying, I'm amazed by, your love and how you love me and how you're with me all the time, And great piano song, great background vocals. And he really, vocally, you see him kind of this grit in his vocals. He really lets it out on this song emotionally, I think. And of course, great melody and everything, and just a powerful song. Maybe I'm Amazed. One of his definitely iconic songs that he's going to always be remembered for. Number 5, another big famous song that he's going to be remembered for is Band on the Run, from the album Band on the Run from, I think, 1975, I believe, came out. Obviously, iconic song, very unique. It's a song that kind of changes during the whole song. It's got like 3 different parts. The 2 first parts are very short, and then the third part is more the Band on the Run part, which is more upbeat. We start with I love the guitar part in the very beginning, the bum 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 bum, da na 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 na. Like that whole part, just a great beginning that really gets you like, oh man, once you hear that, you're like, all right, I know what song's coming on. And I even think I love that whole first part is like this nice little ballad that could have been a whole song in itself, and I would have said this is a great song. But it's interesting how it starts with that part. We got to get out, or first like stuck inside these 4 walls. It's this feeling of being stuck, and then it changed into this more rock tune with we'll never get out of here. So this is idea of like being stuck and trying to get out, almost like out of prison or something, or maybe you're stuck in life, or you're stuck in the job and you're trying to get out. And then the bum 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 bum, and then the acoustic guitar comes in, and all of a sudden drums come in, and all of a sudden we're into the main part of the Band on the Run. And it comes this really nice poppy rock song, very upbeat and very fun song to sing to, and just Paul at his best when he writes those kind of songs anyway. So definitely one of his greats. Band on the Run at number 5. So you're thinking, man, those are 2 iconic songs. What could be better than those? Well, as I'm listening to these songs, I guess these could all change, at any time I could change these around because these are all so good. They're all so close to each other. They're not really far apart as far as, what I like more, and I love them all. But number 4, another pretty popular one, Silly Love Songs, which comes off of their Wings of Sound, Wings at the Speed of Sound album. And I just kind of, what made me put this ahead of some of the other ones, it's more of a poppy song, another love song, but I love the music on this so much. The bass is really great on here. And I just love the whole idea behind the song is that Paul is talking about, people criticize him for writing love songs, but here's another love song. So he's like writing a love song about people critiquing him about writing love songs. So it has this kind of meta kind of humor to it in a way. I don't know if that's the best word, but I really love about the whole song, the lyrics of it, and really beautiful. There's some great horns in there. I think there's some orchestra music also in there. I just love all the production of the song is really great. That's what I love about it so much. And I also just love, it goes into the verses, and then the chorus is just, I love you. Very simple, but yet so beautiful the way he sings it. And then all the other, it sounds like Linda comes in, and Linda does a great job, and they sing together, and it's great. And it's just this very great upbeat pop song. And then I love, one of my favorite things of songs is they have this part where, they have one part where he's singing, he's singing a part, and Linda's coming in with "I love you," and he's singing this other part, and their two voices sound so great together. And then there's another part where she's singing a part, he's singing "I love you," and then a third voice comes in and sings a third different part. So there's three different parts going on at the same time, and they sound just so great together. I love when people do that, or when songs do that, when you have different voices singing different parts and they're all mixing together and they sound great, and it just repeats over and over again. You just hear it over and over again, just to repeat. And something about that repetition, just just love it. It stays in your mind. And then you think the song's over, and all of a sudden the drums come back in, and the bass comes back in. Also, we're back to the first verse, and we go through the first verse again, and it's like, oh, wow, we got more of the song. That's kind of interesting way to end the song. But yeah, great love song, silly love songs. Number 4. Number 3, a song called "Mull of Kintyre," a very Scottish song. I guess he had like a cottage on a Scottish area called Kintyre, or called Mull of Kintyre, and so it's kind of written about this house that he bought, and him and Linda lived in. And I believe it didn't come off any albums. It was just a single that went out, and at one time I think it was like the biggest selling single in England or something like that. It sold a lot of records. But it's just a beautiful song. I love how it starts, beautiful melody with just him and like maybe a piano or something, and then all of a sudden the bagpipes come in, these like Scottish, I call them Scottish military drums or something like that. It's just very different type of sound, but very Scottish sounding. And then he sings it. Song kind of repeats itself a lot, but yet it gets better as the song goes on, because now you got bagpipes and Scottish things, and other voices come in, and as he's singing the chorus, it's just so beautiful, and you hear all these different voices come in, and it's just amazing, and the repetition just catches on so quickly that you're just like, man, I just want to keep singing the song forever. So it's one of those songs I absolutely love. I don't know if it's talked about as much, but it's one of his best songs. All right, so I'm getting to my top 2. Number 2, it's a song called "The End of the End," which came off the "Memory Almost Full" album. My favorite song off of that album. And it's another song, but not a love song, but a song about death, which is very interesting. Of course, it's perfect for him because he's writing about it. Now, "Memory Almost Full," he's probably well into his 60s by this point, maybe. And like I should say about "Early Days," it kind of reminds me of "Early Days." "Early Days" is a song, reminiscent about the past. And Paul's voice is not as clear as it used to be. He obviously sounds like an older person, but yet it's good for the song because it's a song about an older person reminiscing about the past. So his voice actually works better, not being perfectly clear voice. And I feel like this song's another song that's great for him because, again, as he's getting older, he's thinking about as you get older, you think about someday you're gonna die, and you reminisce about the past, and so this is another great song coming from somebody who's getting older and talking about the day he's going to die. And it's a beautiful piano piece with a lot of great orchestra, just a real beautiful song. And lyrically, I just love it because it's talking about, at the end, what's going to happen, and he's talking about, when he dies, he doesn't want people to be sad. He wants people to laugh. He wants people to tell stories. He wants kids playing. He wants to be a happy occasion, which is interesting because usually, obviously, if death is a sad occasion, funerals are sad because you're going to miss that person. But yet he's saying, don't be sad at the end of the end. And he's saying the end of the end is a journey to a much better place, which I really love that lyric. What's a much better place? I can only assume he's talking about heaven, of course. As a Christian, I believe, we die, we go to heaven or hell. If you believe in Jesus Christ as your Savior, you go to heaven. So I think about that, and Paul's not necessarily a Christian, or I don't know what his religious feelings are. I think he grew up maybe with a Catholic. I think his mom might be Catholic, if I remember right. So he might have some religious feelings because of that, though he doesn't talk about it. Never really heard him talk about, religious type of things. But he obviously in the song seems to be thinking about heaven, and he says, when I die, I'm going to go to a much better place, And that's the way we should feel, I think. At least it's hard to feel that way, but I have to remind myself, when I die, I will go to heaven. That's a much better place than earth. So, yeah, and when my loved ones die, I have to think about, well, they're actually in a better place. They're they're in a perfect place. And, they're better off than what I am here on earth, and someday I'll see them again, that kind of thing. but I love the idea that he says, the end of the journey is to, I'm going to go to a much better place, and it must be pretty special because this place was pretty good. And I love that idea that he's saying I'm going to go to a better place, and this place was pretty good. I mean, to him, I guess he's thinking I had a pretty good life, and now after I die, I'm having a better life. So actually, it's a really good thing. Not that we don't want people to die. We don't want people to die. It's sad, but yet you have to think about the fact that it's actually could be a good thing in the end anyway. So I love the lyrics and the thought of of death and it being a happy occasion, and it's just a really, really beautiful song. And so I have it there at number 2. Number 1, favorite song of Paul McCartney. As I was listening to him today, this one just hit me the most. It's just a really, really, really great written song, and it's called Calico Skies from the Flaming Pie album, one of my favorite Paul McCartney albums, Flaming Pie. And this is my favorite song off there, Calico Skies. And he didn't play it in concert, though. I think I've seen him play it on YouTube in concerts. He used to back when this album first came out. Fortunately, he didn't play it in concert when I saw him, and I don't think I've seen much footage of him playing the song, which is too bad because it's such an amazing song, and it's the great acoustic guitar kind of riff at the beginning. There's a sliding, he slides a string, and dun 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 dun. I don't know, and it's just got this great sound, and he plays it throughout the song, and I just love that guitar, that acoustic guitar, and that same riff that he's doing with it. He's obviously very amazing with that kind of stuff, like with Blackbird and Yesterday. He's really great with coming up with these great picks on the acoustic guitar, and this is one of my favorites. And it's just a beautiful song, a love song again, a really great love song. It says, I will hold you for as long as you like. I'll hold you for the rest of my life. It's kind of the way the song's lyrics. So it's very, very deep, sentimental, love song that he's having for this person that he's writing about. And yeah, lyrically, just a really great song, and great vocals by Paul, very beautiful. And that acoustic guitar just really puts it over the top for me. Is my favorite Paul McCartney song that I just can listen to forever. Anyway, so that's Calico Skies, my favorite song, at number 1 here for Paul McCartney's post-Beatles songs. And just, great day to celebrate the greatest singer-songwriter, in my opinion, and musician of all time, Paul McCartney. Anyway, so feel free to comment and say, what's your favorite Paul McCartney song? What do you think about some Paul McCartney songs I've talked about? Love to see you in the comments anyways. And just thank you for watching this video and for liking it. And just thank you to all the subscribers for supporting the channel. I really appreciate you all, and I just hope you have a good day.